When I received my mother's cry that my father had an illegitimate child, I was watching my husband put on a diamond ring for his mistress. While I was working in a cafe at the mall, I received a call from my mother, her voice trembling with tears. "Elena, your dad has a 6-year-old bastard son." Before I could comfort my mother, I saw my husband walk into the jewelry store hand in hand through the glass window. He placed a diamond ring on that woman's finger. My voice started to tremble. Marvin has also cheated on me. Shaking, I hung up my mother's call and watched Arvin Steven chatting and laughing with the other woman in the cafe. I clenched my hand tightly, and without realizing it, the manicure I just got broke straight away. I took a deep breath and called Arvin. "Arvin, where are you? What are you doing?" I suppressed my emotions and asked calmly, as long as he offered me a reasonable explanation. I would definitely not overthink it. But I was wrong. He answered me impatiently and questioned, "Didn't I tell you this morning that I would be working overtime in the lab today? Why are you being so paranoid?" After saying that, he hung up the phone. I watched Arvin flirting with that woman across from him and couldn't help but flare up. I rushed out of the Clisbea and barged into the jewelry store. When I walked in, Arvin was clearly shocked, but he quickly regained his composure and frowned as he questioned me. "Are you following me?" His accusatory tone made me grit my teeth, but instead of explaining myself, I grabbed the other woman's hand and took off the ring. "Arvin, you are so generous." Other salesmen looked over, which made Arvin uncomfortable. He softened and coaxed me, saying, "Honey, let's go back and talk." He grabbed my hand, his expression serious and pleading. In the end, I went soft and my tone softened as well. What about her? I looked at that strange woman with resentment in my eyes. Why does she have to ruin someone else's marriage? We are all women. Why is she doing this to me? I wondered. The woman looked guilty, but when she spoke, it left me at a loss for words. "Elena, Arvin and I are truly in love. Can you?" "Shut up." Arvin immediately interrupted her. I couldn't help but feel a bit of joy and pride. Arvin ultimately loves me and cares about me. This woman is just a small obstacle in our marriage. Everything will be fine as long as we surmount it, I thought to myself. I looked at the woman who acted arrogantly and said, "Shame on you. How could your parents raise such a shameless daughter like you?" Suddenly, Arvin gave me a hard slap on the face. My mind went blank and my face was in severe pain. "You can't say it about my benefactor," Arvin said and left with the woman. I was so stunned that I stood there in a daze. Did he say that woman was the daughter of his benefactor? She is Sansa Dalton. I realized it. I never dreamed that one day I would meet the family who funded Arvin, and it was under such circumstances. After a while, Arvin came back, pulled me, and walked towards the car. I asked Sansa to go back first, and I will explain this to you later. He exerted so much force on the grip, giving me pain that hurts. I spoke, but he remained indifferent. After pushing me into the car, Arvin slammed the car door shut with a bang. After he got in the car, I spoke up. "No matter who she is, you are already married now." I looked at him, hoping he would give me the answer I was expecting. He stared at me and shook his head. "I am sorry, I can't do it." My heart suddenly sank. He continued, "Sansa attempted suicide because of me. Santa Mr. and Mrs. Dalton discovered it in time and saved her. They set aside their pride to ask me for help, and I couldn't refuse." I found his explanation absurd. Their daughter was determined to steal someone else's husband, and those people used Arvin's gratitude to force him into an affair. I couldn't just give up like this. I know several handsome PTIs I can introduce them to her. She only wants me. Arvin stared at me. I wasn't sure if it was just an illusion, but I actually saw a hint of smugness in his eyes. Indeed, how many men can make a woman commit suicide for them? But what about me? I am his wife. Don't my feelings matter? I wondered. This is unacceptable. I stated my position clearly. He sighed. "Elena, please be understandable." Utterly disappointed, I asked back, "Did you even consider my feelings, even a little bit?" We fell into silence. My phone rang and I answered it. My mother's voice came through with a nasal tone. "Elena, your dad has come back with his illegitimate son." In a hurry, I rushed into my parents' house. As soon as I entered, I heard my father pleading, "I have to take responsibility for him.